Buddy, welcome back to Uncommon Analysis. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, please click on the like, subscribe, share, add a comment. Thanks for stopping by. We're glad to see you. And for our regular listeners, we're always glad to see you again. Welcome back. So today I want to talk a little bit about the speech Trump gave to Congress a few days ago and the just ramifications of it, particularly for the Democratic Party. It was a highly partisan speech, no doubt about it. Trump came in swinging. He was not holding back, but he was also very prophetic. And the fact he was so prophetic, I think, made the Democrats look even worse than they would have looked otherwise. Let's see what Trump had to say early on in his speech. We're about not even 8 minutes in because of the speech. And listen to what the man says.
This is my fifth such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
All right. Well, not only did the Democrats sit on their hands through Trump going through what he was planning to do and his achievements and what he planned to do, etc., these morons literally sat on their hands through everything. Everything. The Democrats sat on their hands through every single thing that happened in this speech. When Trump called out and congratulated a young boy whose father was killed in the line of duty for making the West Point, they sat on their hands. When a young child who dreamed of being a law enforcement official at some point later in his life, who survived childhood cancer, was granted honorary Secret Service membership and a badge, they sat on their hands. When Laken Riley's parents and sister were recognized, they sat on their hands. When a young woman who was brain damaged because of boys and girls sports, they sat on their hands. They did nothing. The Democratic Party is a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. They did more damage to themselves last night or the other night, because I think it was 2 nights ago now, than anything Trump could have ever done. More self-inflicted wounds. Then we had the little incident where we had to have, a little before this, we had to have a congressman removed after being warned repetitively to behave.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that when members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you.
So there you go, that guy right there. Texas Representative Al Green was physically removed. No, not dragged out kicking and screaming, but had to remove the chamber after being warned to behave himself. This is what we're dealing with, folks. Now, the Democrats honestly thought they got themselves a soundbite, right? That, him being removed is going to help our cause. Yeah, not so much. Today, Al Green got censured by the House of Representatives for its behavior. And, of course, that caused chaos on the floor of the House today as well, because Democrats don't ever want to face the consequences of any of their policies or behaviors. That's a fundamental trademark, I think, of the far left. We can do whatever we want. There's never a consequence. They don't seem to grasp cause and effect. At least large sections of the very far left do not seem to understand that concept at all. So he's now been censured. Needless to say, this would have been a tough Trump. This was a tough speech for a Democrat to sit through, no doubt about it. Trump was not pretending to play nice. He was acting like somebody who had been persecuted in the courts, who had been lied about for years, who had had his reputation attacked, who had literally been attempted to have been killed. And he's not playing around anymore. So it was a very tough speech for a Democrat to sit through, no doubt about that. He openly called out the failures of the Biden administration by name. He called out the failures of the Democratic policies by name. I'm not gonna pretend this would have been an easy speech for any Democrat to sit through. It was not. It was a Democrat sitting at really what would very similar to any Trump rally speeches, and they had to sit there and take it. Now they had to sit there and take it because they had wrecked the country for 4 years, so much so that Trump won in this huge landslide. Because if they'd been at any level remotely effective, Trump probably would not have won the election. But they failed and lied, and they just don't seem to realize there's consequences for that. You lied about a dementia patient being capable, not only capable, but the best he's ever been for 4 years, until you couldn't anymore. You lied about the economy. You lied about jobs. You lied about prices. You lied about everything. You let the world go along. You're lying. You're still lying to this day. They're still lying. Well, another thing they decided to do for some reason, I really, really don't know what they were thinking on this one. Another thing they decided to do is that they would protest using paddles, like ping pong paddles with things on them. And it probably was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Democrats are being widely mocked for their paddle waving falling flat. MSNBC's Simone Sanders Townsend compared it to a game of bingo. Writing on X, the signs are not landing. It is giving bingo. Sigh.
Man barked out one appalling claim after another, but don't you worry. The Democrats came ready to fight back with their little paddles, okay? That is how you save democracy, by quietly dissenting or bidding on an antique tea set. It was hard to tell what was going on. I'm just kidding. That was very cool, Democrats. In fact, I made my own sign.
The Democrats, I don't know what's wrong with them. There's something fundamentally wrong with this party. And I think they've broken themselves to a point where they lost probably some remaining constituents last night or 2 nights ago, more than they gained. Why do I say that? Well,
Cannot tell you.
Here's why do I say that? Well, here you go. This is a Democrat influencer with about 100,000 followers, and what she had to say after watching that behavior from them.
How refreshing it was to wake up this morning and hear from other Democrats and see on my post other Democrats who are just as furious and ready to friggin' jump ship as I am. I am not buying into what they're selling, because after what we saw yesterday, I'm actually glad that they pulled that yesterday, because people like me who have been disillusioned by the Democratic Party for a long time got to see an evilness there, got to see a diabolical side of the Democratic Party who's basically saying, we want you to fail. We don't care if you fail. It's like the scene in The Wizard of Oz when they finally go back to see the great Oz and they pull the curtain back, and it's just a little old man just standing there like that doesn't have a fucking clue. I'm not going to be afraid to voice my opinion anymore. I'm done. I am done. I am done. And you're not going to bully me off my own page by thinking logical thoughts. I'm not going to be gaslit by my own party. Not one day more. Not one day more.
I think the Democrats are completely clueless. They keep stepping in it. Who's they talk about having a hive mind, right? If you put a lot of people together, you get like this kind of greater intelligence, right? They kind of the thought is like bees and ants, right? There is this while individually they're stupid, collectively there's this intelligence that happens, but the behavior is the individual. There is an intelligence to it, even though no one individual is. I don't think there's a hive mind. I think the liberal hive mind is just gone. I think it has the intellect of a piece of toast. What were they thinking? I know they think that this kind of antics is going to give them play, and among their hardcore, Kool-Aid drinking base, they're probably excited to see this nonsense. When challenged on their behavior of sitting through this stuff, right? They just went off on absolute insanity. They literally they're gone. I really think they lost far more people last night than they could have, and they couldn't afford to lose much more. The Democratic Party is in the toilet. Its brand is just gone. And because they're so low IQ at this point, they're going to latch on to anything in just prayer that something can stick, because they got nothing. Honest to goodness, I've never had high expectations of the Democrats because I saw through their facade a long, long time ago. And I will give Trump absolute credit. He is the one who has forced them to drop their masks. For 10 years almost now, Trump consistently forces them to drop the masks they like to wear in public, to pretend they love this country, to pretend that they love the little guy, to pretend that they care about things that they don't give a damn about. But they do that, and they've done it, right? They put that little mask on, they put that on for the cameras. And then when they actually go back and legislate and do their jobs, they're doing things like USAID and grafting, and you guarantee you're going to find that money flowing back to Democrats. And some established Republicans probably too. Find that money was just a money laundering operation when it's all said and done. Guarantee that. You can take that to the bank. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Trump consistently gets them to drop their mask to where most people who aren't hardcore left-wingers have seen through it. Anyway, I don't know what this party can do. They've lost their way. They're going the way of the Whigs in real time. They are collapsing in real time, folks. They could not have handled that situation any worse. You don't have to like Trump or his policies. No one would give a crap that you didn't clap Trump on anything he claimed policy-wise. No one would care, right? The hard right and the hard left might care, but the rest of them are like, whatever. They're just. But to sit on your damn hands, refusing to celebrate the accomplishments of everyday Americans in the gallery when they're brought up, because you've got that much anti-American and anti-Trump hatred in your soul, there's an evilness there, like that woman said. And the world is seeing through it. They harmed their cause. Like, they were already in big, big trouble. And they've made it worse. And I'm sure they thought they were doing a big thing. They thought this protest was, these paddles, as stupid, was going to help them. Right? It's going to turn the tide. It's going to change the momentum, change the narrative. It's made it worse. So anyway, that's all I got today, guys. Hope you have a great one, and I am out.